right. First off, anybody get involved in the press conference wagering this week? No.
We want to know about this.
Rumor on the street is the driving force is a big goofy guy that we all pretty much know real well. So anyway, you probably can figure out who that is. But okay, Saturday's game did some good things. We started off fast, which is ideally how you'd like to start every week. Jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first quarter. Built it to 23-0 just towards the end of the half. Gave up the field goal at the end of the first half. That was disappointing. We had they took over with 20 or 30 seconds left and maneuvered down for a field goal. So that was probably the low light of the first half. But defense overall, start to finish, was outstanding. Gave them the game ball, the defense in its entirety for controlling the game from start to finish. Offensively, like I said, we were doing some really good things, and then Cam went out, and everything kind of deflated, which was disappointing. Exact opposite should happen. If you lose a key player, then everyone else needs to pick up their game and pick up the slack. It's not just on Isaac Wilson to come in and pick it up. It's everyone around him. And so that's something that was probably the most disappointing thing in the game, is just the way we let the wind completely come out of our sails and not continue to move the football. Second half, not a lot of offensive production. Defense gave up a few things in the second half, but overall, like I said, their overall output, 225 yards and 12 first downs. I mean, we do that all year long. We're going to be in great shape. Did leave some points out there. Missed a couple makeable field goals, an extra point. So if we put those on the board like we typically do, that would be a 30-point output. Which Baylor's a good defensive team. I'm telling you right now, they got some guys on defense, some athletes. They're long, they're fast, and well coached. Coach Aranda does a great job with defense historically. Always has. And so bottom line, we got the win. As far as update, reminder, we don't give any injury updates unless they're season ending, and so we won't say who's going to play quarterback even when we know. That's just not how we do it. So we'll see what happens. But other than Cam going out, we seem to stay fairly healthy in that game, and looking forward to going up to Logan. It's been a while since we've been up there. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but 10, 12 years, 14 years, I don't know. It's been a while, but we're on the road. That's our next challenge, is for this team to play well on the road. If you want to try to get to championship level football, you got to win on the road, and so it starts this week with that opportunity. So questions, we'll start with our man over there, Justin.
Okay, it says, what unique challenges are you facing this year that may be different than years past?
Other than the new conference, probably none. I mean, we've been, the staff's been together for quite a while. We've got a veteran team. So I would say just the fact that we're going to be going to some new venues, playing new teams coming into Rice-Eccles that we are not familiar with. We'll be obviously doing our scouting reports and become as familiar as we can with those guys, but having not seen them in person. And so that would be the biggest challenge this year.
Kyle, you saw some progression in the run game from week 1 to week 2. What are you looking for in terms of progression into week 3?
Yeah, like I said last week, 5 yards a carry is my own benchmark, that I know we're running the ball effectively if we're above 5 yards a carry. We were, again, just shy of that. I think it was 4.7 this past week. And when our run game is really clicking, we're up there at 230, 40, 50 yards, and we haven't been able to achieve that yet this year. And so I think we did fit the run game up better with the block schemes on Saturday. Obviously the degree of difficulty was higher. It was a pretty stout front seven, but I still think there's more for us in the run game. Very proud of Mekhi Bernard for what he did. He was 19 carries for over 100 yards, and 6.2, I believe, was his yards per carry. So he had a really productive day for us, and as I mentioned after the game, is as close to being RB1 as we have right now, and maybe he'll take that over. We'll see. we'll see how things progress.
Kyle, depending on their quarterback health, there's a good chance you're going to be going up against Bryson Barnes.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time you faced a starter from last year, and you're going to face him the very next year. What did he mean for this program? And just talk about maybe how you think he's progressed since from last year to this year.
Yeah, I watched the SC game today, and SC's really good on defense this year, market improvement. But I thought Bryson was poised. Made good decisions for the most part, took care of the football. He was a great member of our program, great teammate. Called upon him several times to play for us, and he responded. Beat SC last year. He was our quarterback, of course, when we beat SC. Just a competitive, tough, high-character individual. And it's good to see him playing and having the opportunity to play at Utah State. And I can't say enough good things about him. And we're not sure who we're going to see this week. Is it going to be him or the other guy? We don't know. But proud of him and happy for his success.
Coach, there were 122 passing yards. Where's the concern level with the pass game production?
Well, when Cam's in there, no concern at all. I think that. If we didn't snap the ball a whole lot of times in the first half, and his numbers weren't bad for what 2/3 or a third of the game, maybe closer to half a game. But had Cam been able to stay in and we'd have kept throwing the ball, I think the numbers would have been about right. When Isaac came in this, particularly in the second half, we were really trying to just get out of there with the win and not protect. We're just doing our best to protect the football. And so, but I thought Isaac. Just speaking of him, I thought he's played better last week than he did the previous week, the last game, and had more command, had more confidence. Looked like he played with more confidence, and I think that he came in and held down the fort for us.
Now that you got a chance to watch the film, what do you think of the play where Cam got injured and the hit?
Yeah, if I was the official on that call, I would have called it. If I was the official, that it looked like certainly the hit started out legal, inbounds, and as it progressed, looked like there was some arm extension and maybe a little extra shove. But I'm not going to complain or whine about it. But if I was officiating on the spot right there, I would have thrown the flag. So.
Do you think when you retire you'll be an official?
I think there's 0% chance of that. Yes, sir. Yeah, I will not. I respect those guys, and they got a tough job, but that's not for me.
By your own acknowledgement, then, there's no concern when Cam is in there on the throw game, which means then you have concern when he's not in there. By your own acknowledgement, indirectly. With that in mind, can you do anything in practice, because possibility of injury exists every game, obviously, to make sure the backup and the backups are more prepared in case it does happen?
Yeah, that's something that is you look at, but when you split the reps in practice between the ones and the twos, it's not 50-50. It's like 80-20 or 70-30. You get the one guy, the first guy, tuned up completely and get as many reps for the second guy as you can. I think one thing that would definitely help Isaac is if he got those 80% or 70% of the reps all week long. I know he would be more advanced. Also, just more experience. He's been in a total of one game of college football now, half last week, half this past week, and so I think he's going to continue to get better. We certainly believe that, and we have a lot of confidence in him. It's just he's not ready to go out and throw the ball 45 times, and against especially a team like Baylor, and just not in his development, he's not quite there yet.
In both the play he got hurt on and the previous 25-yard run he had, do you think Cam's doing everything he can to protect himself from injury? Is there anything you'd say to him?
Not everything, but that's who he is. He's so competitive. He's a fierce competitor, as I've said over and over. When he's out there, it just his competitive instinct is just it's just there, and it's hard to shut that off. And man, get water. Sorry about that. And what was there, fires are out there or something last week or something in the air. But answer your question, we'd like to see him be even more cautious and even more cognizant of staying out of harm's way. But again, it's hard when you got a guy that is that, and I keep going back to the same word, competitive. It's not an easy task.
Knowing you may face either one of the quarterbacks at Utah State, how do you have to prepare differently for each of those guys?
Yeah, they're different type of players. Bryson is certainly an athletic kid that's more adept at running the football. If he's a quarterback, we expect to see more QB run than we will if it's the other guy. But that's not uncommon. There's several weeks during the season where you got two guys to prepare for, and you better have your bases covered on each one. So that's not something that is that rare.
Kyle, if Cam isn't able to go, how much of the game plan is going to change if Isaac is under center?
Not a ton. And again, if we feel that he's not ready to go and Isaac is getting the lion's share of the reps in practice, then he'd have just about the entire game plan at his disposal. And so that's to be determined, but that's how it would be determined if he ends up being the guy.
You mentioned when the run game is going, you're getting 225, 235.
Yep.
When the pass game is going, what do you believe the pass game is?
Same. If we can be balanced, 225, 250, hit 300 some weeks. If you throw for 300 a game, you're going to throw for 3,600 yards in the regular season. We haven't hit that mark. We've been over 3,000 a couple times, and Tyler Huntley, I believe, threw for 3,000. Cam did it a couple years back. So if if 3,000 rushing or throwing and about 2,000 running, 2,500, probably 2,500, that would be about ideal for us.
It's been 12 years since you guys have been up there.
12
not the
years,
greatest
okay.
memory from the last time.
2012?
I think it was 2012.
We get beat up there that game, yep.
Yeah, what do you remember from that game?
That we got beat, and that we didn't play well at all, and they played extremely well. And Gary had those guys ready, and they the quarterback, was that Chucky's junior year? I think it was. Anyway, that was they were ready to play, and they came out and they executed, and we were not as good as we needed to be, and ended up again getting beat.
And there's two more games signed up in the series. What does the Battle of the Brothers mean to you? I mean, you've been around it for a while.
Yeah, well, it's an in-state rivalry, and it's good for the state of Utah, I believe. It doesn't have as high a profile as the rivalry game with the guys down south, but it is certainly a game that captures the attention of the state and is exciting for the state of Utah.
Like last year, you guys ran a dual quarterback system at points.
I'm going to get lambasted for saying guys down south, by the way. I've been lambasted before. My wife every day. Yeah.
Last year when Cam was injured, you guys ran a dual quarterback system with Bryson and Nate. Is that something that could potentially happen if Cam isn't able to go this year?
I would say very unlikely. You never want to say never, but I don't think that based on our personnel and our what our hierarchy is of quarterbacks right now, I don't see that happening.
Two games into the season, how much from a scouting standpoint is it enough to have two games to be able to get a feel for what the teams are as far as the opponents go?
It's way better than 0. It's quite a bit better than 1, but I think 3+ is what you look for. As soon as you start getting 3+, which obviously is next week, then you get a real good feel for a team's MO and what they're about and what to expect and yeah, so probably 3 full games and then everything else. And that's typically what you do as the season goes on. You try to pick the 3 games that are most similar schematically to how you are, and then you have another game or two that you add to that. Another game or two that rounds out the scout report. But and the coaches look at every game, but that's what you give the players is what we expect to see.
Any other questions?
Okay, everybody. Thank you.